M4 14-inch MacBook Pros. No more 8 gig RAM and 256 gigs nonsense. It looks like they are simplifying their design model. Instead of a few ports missing from the regular M4 MacBook, both models now get the same layout. 3 USB-Cs, Thunderbolt ports, 1 HDMI, a headphone jack, SD card reader, and a MagSafe charger. Both of them get 1000 nit displays. Speaking of displays, the regular model can now do 2 external displays. If you want the nano screen, add $150. I think this time around for the M4, they were listening to the customers and gave us a regular M4 MacBook Pro that feels more like a Pro model. Before the M4, all of the M1 through M3 regular MacBook Pros felt like it didn't belong in the Pro category. So let's go ahead and look at the specs. So the M4 MacBook Pro is a 10-core CPU and 10-core GPU, and it has Thunderbolt 4. Versus the M4 Pro MacBook Pro model is 12 cores and 16-core GPU, and they have Thunderbolt 5. Just keep in mind that Thunderbolt 4 and Thunderbolt 5 is not a big deal, because right now I think it would take at least another 3, 4, even 5 years before Thunderbolt 5 ends up being adopted. There's just not enough accessories and cables out there for Thunderbolt 5. It's not widely adapted yet. Let's look at the different configurations here. All of this is based off of 16 gigs of RAM, 512 SSD is 1600, 1 terabyte is 1800, and 2 terabytes is 2200. That's with 16 gigs of RAM and 2 terabytes of SSD is 2200. And the read-write score is 2600 read and 2200 write. Now let's look at the M4 Pro model. This one starts at 24 gigs of RAM. The 512 SSD model starts at $2,000. The 1 terabyte one is 2400 and the 2 terabyte one is 2600. And the read write, 4600 for read and 4000 for the write. Here's some notes to think about. Don't worry about Thunderbolt 5. I think it will be till M6 or M7 before anything starts happening with it. 5 has already gotten bad reviews at the early stages of it. It's just not there yet. If you're on a budget, you don't have to buy new or the latest and greatest. Because of the M4 specs, I think you can save a lot of money getting an M2 or M3 model, and that will still serve you well. Yes, you won't get the nice performance bump compared to an M4, but I think it can still handle all of your tasks. It might just take a little longer. Overall, it's just comparing price over performance, if that really matters to you. Here are some benchmark numbers if you're into that.